in there and I see what you doing, that podcast, that's gonna be big. That's it. I seen it last night. Don't you let nobody discourage. I back you. I back you.
What's up, Faith and Fun family? Tonight, we have a conversation that I believe is going to touch hearts and remind us of the strength that only God can give. Before we dive in, I want to take a moment to honor the memory of Sir Joseph Wilson. He's the late husband of today's guest. His love, faith, and legacy continues to shine through her journey, reminding us that even in the hardest season, God's grace carries us through. Today's guest is a powerful leader, a voice of wisdom, and a woman who has walked through victory, healing, and grace, even in the hardest seasons of life. Chief Apostle Mamie Lee Wilson is with us today in the flesh. And today, we're not just talking about the title, but we're meeting the woman behind it. But before we get to the woman behind the title, I want to talk about the titles. So, Chief, tell us about the titles.
Well, the title was affirmed. I was affirmed to the office of the apostle some 30 plus years ago under the leadership of Apostle Sylvester Davis Johnson, Winston-Salem, North Carolina. And I have many churches in globally in Japan, Nigeria, and so many different places. But I'm grateful that the Lord have allowed us to help people all over. And it's not so much about just where you got churches at, but where you're being an impact at.
Yeah.
And we have churches in Bahamas, Freeport, and all of those, are global. But I like the international church. The one in Bahamas has really been a blessing to me, and the one locally here have been a blessing to me. But now I'm looking forward to where God is taking me now. Just wherever people need to be helped.
Yeah.
That's what I want to do.
Yeah.
Not so much adding to how many I have, but how many I'm impacting.
Yeah, I like that. So, settle in, open your hearts, and let's journey together. I'm truly honored to have you here. Thank you for saying yes, not just to this interview, but to healing in public so others can find strength in private. So, who is the little girl inside of you, the one who dreamed before she ever preached?
The one that didn't know who she was and was very adventurous and pretty much did what I wanted to do, made a lot of mistakes. But in my life, I learned endurance. I learned that the dream that I should have had was God's dream. But, we go facing our own and cause a lot of decisions that we hate we made. But now this little girl has grown up. And this little girl still like little girl things. But nevertheless, the little girl can reach another little girl. A little girl that's hurting. A little girl that may not have had it with a silver spoon or shining nothing, may not have had that, but can be all God want her to be. And no matter the odds, you can be what God wants you to be. So the little girl is still developing. And so as the little girl, never you lose your youthfulness about anything because you get old.
Yeah.
Now, I'm grateful to be 72.
Wow, you don't
But
look it now. You don't look it.
my late husband used to call me his little girl, and he always called me his little girl, and we had the fun of life. And I mean, we had the fun of life, and we learned to laugh. We learned to do it in ministry. We learned to do it in our families, in our homes, and we always laughed and got the meat of life. And it didn't matter how much money we had. It didn't matter whatever the circumstances was. If we could laugh, and it was God that taught us to laugh.
Yeah, yeah. So what's something about you that people would never know unless they really sat one-on-one with you?
That I'm a shy person. And my children always say, Mommy, don't say that because you are not shy. And I say, really, I am. I say, really, I'm a shy person because I've always been that way. But what I'm confident in is who I know.
Yeah.
And that's God. I might not do it just perfectly according to the way it's supposed to do. But when you get me in that zone with God, when you get me and God, I totally forget everything else, and I know he has been there for me, and I'm grateful. He hadn't failed me yet, and he won't.
72 years. He ain't failed you
72
not one
years he
time.
had. I've been
Man.
disappointed a couple of times because
Uh-huh.
I couldn't get him to go along with my program.
So when the weight of expectation gets heavy, what keeps you grounded?
Well, it all depends on who is expecting,
Mm.
because I overcome the public opinion.
Ooh.
I overcame my family's
Yeah.
opinion. Long as God's satisfied,
Longest God.
then don't expect much of me, because you might not get what you expected. Because down to earth mean that I learned to meet God right where He is, and learn to examine my life and see, am I satisfied with Him. So a lot of people don't. They expect little, but they gonna always get more.
Yeah.
You know, God make us look good.
Yeah.
He makes it. The Holy Spirit makes us look good. You know, I sat on platforms with, doctors and PhDs and, lawyers and mayors and all of that. And sometimes I ain't even know what to say. And I'll say, "Oh, Holy Spirit, you made me look good."
Yeah.
He would tell me what to say, and he said to be slow to speak. And I used to be swift to get angry. Oh
Mm-hmm.
Lord, but I had to slow my roll and not be angry. And if I listen to the Holy Spirit, and He'll tell me what to say, when to say it, and I said, "Well, you made us look good, Holy Spirit.
Yeah.
You really made us look good." So, in living life happy, it makes you know the expectancy is in God, not in people, because
Yeah.
they'll be for you one minute and they'll be against you the next minute.
Yeah. Yeah. Do you ever miss the version of yourself before you accepted your calling?
No, because I was a character.
Mm.
I was a character in life. I did what I wanted to do. I'm not proud of all that, but I paid for all that.
Yeah.
Paid for every one of those crazy decisions that I made. And to look back, I had no boundaries.
Mm.
I did exactly what I wanted to do, and I was a daredevil. Because don't dare me, I was going to do it. I did it. No matter the repercussions, you dared me, I was going to try it.
Yeah.
When I got saved, I look back. There was nothing in life I wanted to do that I hadn't done.
Mm.
I never look back and say, I wish they had done this, I wish they had done that, I wish they had did that. No, I did what I wanted to do. If I didn't want to do it, I wasn't going to do it. But if I said I was going to do it, I'm going to find a way to do it. Didn't know that I had the Holy Spirit on the inside that would show me that don't make them dumb decisions, and because they're going to come back up again as you get older. Now that I'm a little older,
Yeah.
my husband say, I can better understand.
Yeah.
Don't do them dumb things just because you can do them. So the girl I used to be, no, I don't miss nothing about her.
Yeah.
I call it the reformed Mamie Lee, the redeemed Mamie Lee.
Yeah.
Now that knows God, because I don't know my limits.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So what has age and experience taught you about embracing softness and strength at the same time?
I would say, now that I'm a little older, I can better understand. I don't have to be right all the time.
Yeah.
I don't have to argue all the time. I don't have to prove my points all the time. One of the hard things I ever had to do was walk away looking like a sucker.
Mm.
An all-day sucker, that's what I call it. Because people think they really got the best of you.
Mm.
They really think that they throw shade on you. They really thought that. But God have always proved Himself through me. He said, stand still and know that I am God. And I've seen people that had to come back
Mm.
and say, I'm sorry for the way I treated you or did you. And I call it my 15 minutes of fame, or them 15 seconds of fame. And when they come back and they have to eat pie and crow and all the rest of that stuff, and I say, God said, wait on the Lord and be of good courage, and He'll strengthen your heart. Wait, I said. So age has taught me, either you're going to let God do it or you going to do it.
Mm-hmm.
And if you let God do it, may not happen this year, may not happen in the years to come, but in the appointed time of God, it will come forth, and God say, I made you out to shine. I made you out. And they was like, I didn't think you was wrong. So my answer to them is, don't trade places with me just to prove I was right.
Now that'll preach right there. That'll preach right there.
Because you haven't walked in my shoes.
Ooh.
And you haven't been where I've been. And trying to explain it to you may be Greek. You don't understand because you don't understand where you have never been. But now you got a little older. You done traveled some roads. And you done had some hard knocks. So now you can just wait on the Lord and be of good courage, and he'll strengthen your heart.
Yeah.
So I wait on the Lord.
Wait on the Lord. So many people call you different things. I call you chief. Other people may call you apostle. But when people call you that, what part of you just still whisper, I'm just Mamie Lee?
Because I take no credit for myself. It was God that have caused me to be the chief apostle. I never wanted to be a chief apostle. And it ain't about that, you know. I don't do the limelight real well. I tell myself, I said, Monica, handle that, because I don't handle that real well, you know. But it was God that brought me here. And I met so many people, and they don't mean no harm, because in the beginning, I was everything people wanted me to be. I had to make sure that, you know, I wore my chief apostle hat. And I'll make you laugh about this one.
Okay.
I remember when I came from the Baptist church, and when I didn't have a place to sit down, right? And they found out who I was. They came and got me, and they ushered me all the way up to the front and set me in the pulpit. And where everybody else was standing up, and now I'm sitting down, you know. And I had on my apostolic hat. And I sat up there, and I'm like, I got to be the chief apostle now. That ain't about nothing. It is not, because I believe in wearing the hat. It's come from the inside. It's wearing the office of the apostle. I know how to take charge, and I know how to make leaders, and I know how to endure, and I know how to go along with people that don't have and don't mind getting dirty. And I've seen people that, you know, they didn't even want them to touch them. They would, you know, if people come up to them, they would put their hands up. And just because I'm who I am, don't embrace me. I never want to be that big.
Yeah.
I never want to be to the place that, you know, people, I'm not touchable by God's people. God put me in that position. I don't allow myself to think more highly of myself than I ought to, and especially since grief and mourning has been my passion for the last almost 4 months now, since Joe went to sleep, and God told me to embrace it. And anytime God tell you to embrace it, get ready for a ride.
Yeah.
Because you're going to feel all that. I
Yeah.
felt all that, everything, all of that. And everybody expected me, you know, was just be strong, but they didn't write no book and tell me how to be strong. They, you know, they'll say, well, trusting, I'm trusting. Well, where you at when I'm at home at 2 and 3 o'clock in the morning by myself, and the spirit of loneliness come? Nobody never tell you the day to day. And they don't tell you. So they expect, all of you, you know the word and you know God, but I know reality.
Yes.
And the reality of it is we're nothing without him. And I promise you, we have more leaders caving because they're trying to be something they're not. I wear pajamas like everybody else. Really, really do. But at the end of the day, I can be strong in pajamas. I can be strong even in pajamas.
Yeah.
Because wherever God is needed, that's where we're supposed to shine the brightest.
Yeah.
So what I decided to do was just let him live his life through me. So I'm not up and down. I'm not up and down up on this pedestal of what people expect and what, you know, and then what you expect.
Right.
I expect for the Holy Spirit to carry out the assignment that he has in my life. And if he carries out that assignment in my life, then I'm satisfied.
Yeah.
So I hope that answered your question.
That was a good answer right there. So I want to get into this grief section. So grief doesn't move in a straight line. What has surprised you most about your grieving process?
I've never grieved to that depth. I dealt with death all my life, and being a leader, I have to tell people about grieving. And when you become the one that has to
Mm-hmm.
take your own words to
Mm-hmm.
heart. And when my husband went to sleep August the 23rd at 20 minutes to 3,
Mm.
I know because he died in my arms. And I loved him, my husband. And I still love him today. Um, I never knew it was going to be like this. Even though when my husband passed away and God showed me he was going to pass, I was ready for his death. I prepared for his death, prepared for the funeral, but nobody prepared me for the day to day.
Mm.
Nobody prepared me for going home and after 45 years sleeping by myself. I used to sleep with him when I was mad, when I didn't want to sleep with him, and all of that. But now, 45 years, and the house is cold and it's lonely, and he's not there. And God said, embrace it, and He let me feel what others feel.
Mm.
No one ever told me that it was you can be doing good today and you're down again tomorrow. That no one ever told me that the depths of your love is the depths of your grief.
Mm.
And I grieved in a way that, and people, we have said the right things. Well, you just be strong. God gonna
Mm-hmm.
take care of you and all like this. Well, where you at, Lord? It's 3 o'clock in the morning, and there's an ache that don't go away. And I went to the doctor on yesterday, and she began to tell me where I was on her chart.
Mm-hmm.
And when she said, "What can I do for you?" I said, "There's not a pill you can write me that would take away the pain. There's not an injection you can give me that would take this numbness away from me." I say, and I imagine so many people that do not have Holy Spirit.
Mm.
I say, my Holy Spirit what keeps me going. And I say, even He keeps me going, but I have to actually get up. I have to actually get dressed and actually go out of the house. I have to do that. It takes all the strength. It takes it all. And God allowed me to embrace the grief and the mourning. I don't go, and one of the loops was numbness, and
Mm-hmm.
one was guilt. I ain't never gonna be guilty because I done everything I could for my husband. For 15 years, I took care of him, and I made sure that I dotted the I's, crossed the T's, wore out and everything. He made me mad, but I still kept him anyway. And at the end of the day, where I've grown to today is I want to help somebody that's going through grief and mourning, because silence is a prison.
Mm.
And if there's no one to talk to you about it, it have altered people's lives.
Mm-hmm.
And some people can't go on. They don't know where the safe space is that they can talk about their loved one. They don't know where the safe space is to say it's okay to accept it. But the day they put him in the mausoleum, I sat there and I watched him. And I said, "You're never, ever, ever going home with me again."
Mm.
And in my heart, I say, "Never, ever, ever, ever." I said it till it was ugly.
Mm.
And it was ugly. And people say, "Oh, you look so pretty." They don't know the hell that I was going through. They don't know the pain. And my son told me, said, "Mama, it's hard to come home. Daddy ain't here." I said, "Well, imagine me living here every day." And I say, and he not here.
Mm.
I have to go on. So embracing the grief, God has shown me how that if you survive,
Mm.
you can bring others out.
Mm-hmm.
He said, "I want you to talk about it." I'm like, "Oh my God, I don't want to, be kind of personal. I can't even grieve in private, Lord." He said, "But you're overcome by the blood of the Lamb, the word of your testimony." He said, "Help somebody else that don't have a support system." I had to grieve alone. I don't
Mm-hmm.
blame nobody, but I stayed in that house by myself, me and God. Now
Mm-hmm.
my family come, but they got families. You can't, look for your family to be there 24/7. There's something you have to do and do alone. And Holy Spirit helped me to stay in that house and cry and moan when it wasn't no words. And I sat on the bed and all I could say was, I heard it so bad till I say, Now that don't sound politically correct to being an apostle. that don't sound all like that right like that. But at the end of the day, that's the way it is. That's the way it is. And so many people's lives have been altered because of grief. And they don't know how to go on. So I embrace. I hurt so they don't have to hurt.
Apostle.
And it's so many people. And it was a little old lady came to me last Sunday in Aiken. And she said, you'll find your footing after a while. And I looked at her and I didn't even know she was married. She said, my husband died in 2014. And she said, you're looking for your footing. Now, I ain't even know, nobody never told me you're looking for no footing. But I felt like my life was sliding. Everything I knew with him was gone. And there was no grasp to nothing I went to do. They said, Mama, you had a good time. I don't know a good time no more. That my good time was based on him. We had been together 50 years. So everything I knew was based on him. And I said, okay, God. I said, you put me in isolation. Yes, you did. You put me in isolation. But he took me out of isolation and put me in population. As being a leader, I have to be around people. And when I be around people, I cannot let my pain alter the way I treat them. I can't snap at them. I can't show the hurt there. I have to do what I do with the Holy Spirit and say, Holy Spirit, help me. Help me not to be angry. Help me not to be bitter. Help me just to live and be true to you. And he said, talk about it. And the lady said, my husband's clothes been in my closet 17 years and he's been gone. I said, you didn't need the room? And she said, well, I just wanted everything to stay like it was. I said, but wait a minute. Has he worn anything? She said, no. I said, God did not take him to destroy you. And so many times our loved ones are left destroyed. And God, being a loving God that he is, why would he take them? He knows the whole plan. So if he knows the whole plan, even in my tears and in my pain, I know God knows the answers for me, but I got to ride it out. Ride it out. And I say, I don't want the book stuff. I had to ride it out to know pain in its depth in order to be able to bring somebody else. And because I'm here with you tonight, and I could pull your leg. You wouldn't even know I was pulling it. How? I could say the correct things that the books say. I could say what is expected of me to say. But my heart breaking on the inside. Yeah. But when somebody see what comes from the heart, it will reach the heart. And they say, how you doing? I say, I'm in a good place. I say, this good place God is in. I say, and I'm going to stay right there. I say, but if it's anything else, I'll let you know. But I ain't going to move from this good place. Yeah. Because that's the place I live from.
Yeah. Yeah. I like that. So, what memories bring you the most peace when you think about Sir Joseph?
That I was privileged to be loved by a man. What a mighty good man.
A mighty good man.
What a man, what a man, what a mighty good man. I mean, we grew together. And we fell in love with God together. And he was there for me. And out of all the struggles, if it had been me, he would have did that for me. His little girl, he would have did that. But we built a family, and he got out of life a family. When the doctor told me, and he only went down in 1 week. In 1 week before he passed away, he was up and everything, and went in on a Monday, normal. Tuesday he fell, and he went to the floor, and I couldn't get him up. And I said, Holy Spirit, I can't do this no more. You're going to have to help me. And soon as I asked the Holy Spirit, it took 3 of us to get him up. He was in the hospital bed one day, and the hospice nurse came in and said, "Well, what happened to his hands?" I said, "Nothing." She said, "Well, it's time for me to tell you this." And I said, "Tell me what?" She said, "It's time to make arrangements."
Mm.
I said, "You talking about end of life?" I said, "You can tell that by looking at his hands." She said, "Yes, I can." And I called my family. And she said, "Call the family." And my family moved in. They moved in. All the way in, man. They moved in. I mean, all the way in. You know, they moved in under the bed, side the bed. We had to move the chairs, everything. And we got so many grandchildren. We got 26 grands. We have 22 great grands. And the great grands moved in. And they slept under the bed, on the side of the bed with him. They said, "Grandmama, go to bed. We got him." They waited on him. One is a nurse. She came in and waited on him so I could sleep. We took turns sleeping. So I got out of life. He got out of life of family. And they even told us, "Y'all going to have to leave so he can go." It's so much love here. It's going to make it harder for him to go. Because just say your goodbyes and just go to eat. I said, "Well, yeah, y'all eat because I ain't going nowhere." And I was going to stay with him. So what I got out of this, and I remember about him the most, was his strength. Was his strength. He had strength like no other. His values, he stood on them like no other. And we're able to pass that on to our families, to have the strength of God. And I used to see him, and he would tell me, he said, "Why won't God answer my prayer?" And I said, "But he going to answer your prayer." I said, "But it's all in the timing of God." And when God answered his prayer, he blessed me because he faced death with a smile. I would never forget it. Never, as long as I live, when he looked at me and he looked in my eyes. And I said, "You got a tear in your eye." And I went to wipe his tear right there. And he looked me, and I call it language to language. And he didn't say a word. And he looked up and he smiled. And he was gone. Just that easy. And I said, not a fear of death. I say, able to laugh in death's face and say, "Come, and I'm welcome." I always admire him for his strength that he had in the face of death. So we're left now to carry on the legacy of the strength. So that's what I take back from that.
What does the term "till death do us part" mean
Oh
differently
my
now?
God. Oh my God. When he passed away, and my nurse, Keisha, she immediately put the blood pressure cuff on him, and she was pumping it up, and it started up and it got up to like 40, and then it say error, error, error. She put the thing on his finger, the pulse on it, and it said error. Everything was saying error. She grabbed her stethoscope and she put it. And she said, "Grandmama, I don't hear nothing." And I got up in the bed where he was, and I laid my head on his chest, and for the heartbeat that I had heard pumping for 50 years, I said, "Get over for the last time." That's what I always talk to him. And I laid my head and I laid it down like that, and it was so still, and it was so calm. I say, "So this is what death do us part look like?" I said, the only thing parted us was death.
Was there?
Not misunderstanding, not hard times, not any of that. Not all the pain we went through, the hell we went through. But the only reason he left me
Was there?
was death. And God is the giver, but he's also the retriever of the breath. So when his breath was gone, I knew God took it. So till death do us part now means so much different. So when they put him in the mausoleum that Sunday, and I said, "Well," I said, "he never going home with me, and he ain't gonna never be my husband no more." That's just what I said. He ain't gonna be my husband no more. And heaven has daddies. Now my children were having a hard time. I said, "You gonna see your daddy again?" Heaven have have daddies and mamas, but they don't have husbands. I say so. This assignment
It's
is
complete.
complete. So I removed my wedding band
Mm.
and I put it on his finger. And I say, "You are a good husband. You are a good husband to me." I said, "I was privileged for you to love me and me to love you." I said, "But that assignment on earth
Mm.
is done." So I retired my wedding band. You gave it to me. Now, babe, I'm giving it back to you. Take it with you. So death do us part now means totally different for
Mm-hmm.
me because circumstances really can't divide you.
Mm.
Not when there's a bond so great. And that's love.
Mm-hmm.
That's love. It's not selfish. It don't seek its own way. It's not puffed up. But I tell you, I found love to be the source
Mm-hmm.
of why God came.
Yeah. Yeah. That was good. I tell you, boy. So, after after he passed and the funeral, and you go back home, and a lot of people say after the funeral is when it really starts.
Well, my children go home.
Well, after they went home.
They stayed like 3 weeks, and I kept saying, "Y'all going home." And Mike said, "Mama, why you want us to go home?" And I knew that they wanted to be around me, and I needed to be around them. So they stayed, and they finally went home. But when they went home, Florida Evans had a moment on her show when they call it the damn moment. And she
Mm-hmm.
broke the vase, the bowl and everything. They said, "Oh, you definitely going to have one of them." I didn't have that.
Mm-hmm.
But I did have a moment.
Mm-hmm.
The moment was when the house was still. And I had to go to bed by myself.
Mm.
45 years that I had slept with this man. Mad, not mad, whatever else. One man, only man. Was faithful to that man the whole 50 years we've been married. And but he's not there. And 10 years from now, if life lived, he won't be there. And I woke up and looked around the house and I'm like, "Oh my God, I'm here by myself.
Mm-hmm.
I'm here and he's gone." So my moment came was, he's not here
Mm-hmm.
with me anymore. The life that we built is gone. Now I have to rebuild me a life. What do it looks like? It's spooky. I'm
Mm-hmm.
used to running to him. But I always had to run to God because when he get on my nerves, I had to go to God. God, you better get him. You better check him. You better whatever else. But I'm learning. I still hurt. Last week wasn't a good week for me. It was not. I was on that sliding scale. It was not a good week. Seemed like the more that I stay, time that he has passed, seemed like the worse it got. And that is because the reality of him not coming back
Mm-hmm.
sets in. I knew he wasn't coming back, but the reality, the day to day, he's not coming back. And you can't just talk about it to everybody.
Yeah.
Because, sometimes when I preach and I say, "God," I say, "people going on, but I'm still by the grave.
Mm.
I don't feel like celebrating. I'm still by the grave. My heart is broken. And no matter how broken you are, can you survive through brokenness?
Mm.
Yes, you can. I ain't gonna tell you what kind of shape you're gonna be in, but through the bleeding, through all of that, the realness of God really come forth. The reality to it don't change. Every day, you got to go to bed by yourself.
Mm-hmm.
You got to get up in the morning. There's no more conversations. There's no more laughter. So some people that don't have God don't have no more existence.
Mm.
72 and starting over, I was like, Lord have mercy. And Monica let me look at this podcast this lady had done. It really helped me. And she said, "I thought me and my husband was going to grow old together." And she was 50 something, he was 60 something. I said, "Yeah, I thought me and my husband was going to grow old together too." Then I said, "Oh, wait a minute. He was 83 and I was 72. We did grow old together. I said we did grow old. We did grow old together, but I never looked at him as being 83
Mm-hmm.
because he was older than me. And I would tell him, you ain't wearing that because you look like no old man. Him, you gonna wear this right here, and that's the way we lived our life to the fullest. So it don't matter, the age. It's just mind over matter. You don't mind, it don't matter.
That'll preach right there
It don't
too.
matter if you don't mind. You can see him in church, and I'd be sitting at church. He would wink his eye. He would do me like that. And sometimes the kids say, "Well, Mama, what y'all doing?" I say, "Inside joke, inside, inside joke." And to have to bounce back
Mm.
from something like that, and it makes me think of the people that don't have God
Mm-hmm.
and got to try to bounce back. I was saying, I read this article, and the lady said on the article, she said, I woke up in the emergency room with a bottle of pills, and I saw doctors and nurses. But my plan was to wake up in heaven and see my husband.
Mm.
She said, I didn't want to live. And I said, oh my God. I said, I'm grateful that the thoughts of suicide only paid me a visit,
Mm.
but it didn't take any action.
Mm.
See, that's the difference. We don't tell the truth that it do pay you a visit.
Come on now.
But I love me some me. I ain't planning on trying to kill myself now. Nope, I ain't trying to do that. He said, blase, blase. He said, well, maybe the Lord let me pick. He didn't say the Lord. He said, maybe I can pop in and see whether you happy. I said, babe, I don't mean no harm, but if you going to him, don't be popping in on me. I said, I'll see you when I get there. But then I went, when he passed, I said, you can pop in on me anytime. I'll never be afraid of him, because perfect love cast out all fear. And I'm never fearful of him. I'm never, I feel his presence and knowing. But he told me, you got to go on.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know what God showed him, but God showed him that he could come home and I would be okay. So one day, God will catch me up to what he showed
Mm-hmm.
him.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm grateful for that.
Yeah. So your relationship with God played a major role in your grieving process. What do you think, or what do you think, are the main reasons that it didn't hit you? Because honestly, losing a spouse, that'll take somebody out if they really aren't, guarded in who they are with God. So what do you think played a major role?
Honesty.
Mm.
Can you go before God and say, I hurt? Can you go to God and say, I bleed? That's what helped me. Because people expect me not to hurt. And I expect you, but at all they expected, I heard it. I went through hell.
Mm-hmm.
And I ain't the only one going through
Mm-hmm.
hell. But my relationship with God taught me to come back to God.
Mm-hmm.
Always come back to God. But I grieved as a sinner would have grieved.
Mm.
I grieved as a backslider would have grieved. Because during that time, pain has no label. Pain has no title. Pain is just pain.
Mm-hmm.
And when it's everlasting over and over, you just want the pain to stop. My relationship with God told me he would not leave me comfortless.
Mm.
So in my pain, I come to church on Sundays, and people don't know.
Mm.
If you see me, I go straight into worship.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes I think I need to wear a jogging suit.
She be
Because
toe
I
up
go
now. You be
straight up,
toe
take
up.
the hat off, everything else, and that's my survival.
Mm.
I got to get in the presence of God, or else I ain't going to make it. You don't know where I've been last week, so I have to go to God in order to keep my sanity.
Mm-hmm.
So I can tell that one, I know how you feel. I really know. No, you really know how I feel. I really and truly know. how you feel. If you're going to be honest, I got to tell you what the gut feeling is. I got to tell you what I want to do. None of that y'all talk about. None of it don't mean nothing to me. That don't mean anything to me. My love, the love of my life, gone.
Mm-hmm.
Just gone. And I got to be okay with it. So Holy Spirit, you're going to have to show me how to be okay, because I ain't okay. I say, Joe, you told me I'm going to be happy. I ain't happy. You need to know I ain't happy. Now I might get happy, but I ain't happy right now.
Mm-hmm.
Honesty with you to thine own self. Be true.
Mm-hmm.
Instead of telling lies to people, oh, I'm fine and I'm super and crumbling all the time and hurting and broken all the time. But honesty says, you're hurt, but you'll get over it.
Mm-hmm.
You're broken, but God will heal that broken place. And I didn't like talking about my husband so much.
Mm-hmm.
And I went to God. I said, God, I don't want to preach because all I'm talking about is my husband. I say, folks probably say, yo, I've been and got over him. It's been some months.
Mm-hmm.
They ain't walked in my shoes. And I said, he said, have not I been there with you? And I say, you are with me. He said, well, why look for me anywhere else? And I said, okay, I'm going to stay out right here camping out with you in the midst of my pain until I get through this grief and mourning stage.
Mm-hmm.
So I may not can reach the apostolic congregation right now. And I may not can meet the bishops and I may not can meet those one in the hierarchy right there. But if they got somebody that they loved and gone, I can reach them. You know, if they got somebody that left them, and it can be a relationship, don't have to, but it's still a death. And the same God that delivers me can deliver them. And I had people to come to me and say, your story about your husband set me free.
Mm.
I'm able to go on. One lady said, 17 years I've been had this stuff in the house. I said, maybe that's why you ain't got none of the husband. Because the presence of the old one is still there.
Mm.
You got to learn to go on, and God will help you to go on.
What did God whisper to you in the moments nobody saw?
I'm with you.
Mm-hmm.
I'm with you. And I say, you sure? Because when your feelings are all over the place.
Mm-hmm.
And Monica sung the song, and that my soul loved Jesus.
Mm-hmm.
And it do. But my mind, my will, when I
My
got to that
emotion.
emotion,
Yeah.
oh, I said, Lord, sanctify them emotions because they all over the place. I couldn't say that my emotions was, I felt like, I felt like God was with me and I felt like the president. No, I ain't felt like that all the time. I didn't. So I had to know how to tell the one, say, I don't feel like that.
Mm-hmm.
It's all right not to feel it.
Mm-hmm.
Go with what you know.
Yeah.
Stand on what you know.
Yeah.
You'll feel it after a while. You might not feel it today, but you're going to feel it tomorrow. But stay with God. And that's what it keep you
Mm-hmm.
through these times.
Mm-hmm. Learning to begin again. What does that mean to
Oh, that's spooky. So many people tell me, okay, now you're single, and I am single, but I became single with God. I was like Adam, and I asked God a question, got me in a lot of trouble,
you?
a lot of trouble. I said, I want to know what kind of relationship you and Adam had before the fall. Didn't know I was going to have to visit that place.
Mm.
And but everything God required of Adam to do, he did it. I hate to say it, but he didn't get in trouble till Eve came on along, but so I had to get single with God. Just me and God. Nobody but me and God. And I knew I had to grow from me and God. And beginning again, whatever I do, I got to put God first.
Mm-hmm.
And him being the source of my life. And wherein Joe was the love of my life.
Mm.
And he came to an end. God don't have no end.
Yeah. If you could hold the hand of someone grieving right now, what would be a prayer that you would pray over them?
To feel everything that they're feeling, and to allow God to walk them through. If I was holding a hand, and I would tell them, I know how you feel.
Mm-hmm.
I've been there. And if I can get through, you can too.
Mm-hmm. If someone feels like they don't have any strength left, what do you want them to know about God's strength?
I ain't have none either. He is my strength.
Mm-hmm.
And people say, I see you and you going on and you don't never look like you're broken. I said, all that was God. I quit last week. That I ain't walking because I ain't even got up. I haven't even put on no clothes.
Mm.
I'm still in the bed.
Mm.
I'm still in isolation. I don't want to see y'all. I don't want to be bothered with you. None of that.
Mm-hmm.
But the strength of God is, He carries me, and He's the one to tell me to go on.
Mm-hmm.
So it ain't in me. It's in Him.
Mm-hmm. What is one sentence or one thing you want viewers to always keep in their mind after this episode? Whenever they get to those low places, whether it's grieving someone who passed away physically, or they're grieving a relationship or friendship, or just the loss of anything. What's something you want them to remember from this episode?
God can truly get you through this. God can truly get you through this.
Mm-hmm.
That, hey, when He got me, He's getting me through this. I can handle anything.
Mm-hmm.
I can handle it all.
Yeah, yeah. If God said to you, daughter, pick one word to describe this season of your life, what word would you choose?
Pain. Pain.
Yeah.
Because we try to we try to portray something that's not real.
Mm-hmm.
That life is a flowery bed of ease. Life is full of pain,
Yeah.
and some people have low resistance to pain. But if you can tolerate the pain, you grow through pain.
Mm-hmm.
Pain produces a far more weight of glory.
Mm-hmm.
So don't shun pain, because life is going to bring you pain in some kind of way, form, shape, or fashion. You're all going to have pain.
Mm-hmm.
But it'll come out. You'll come out okay.
Mm-hmm.
Come out okay.
Yeah. So after this grief and realizing that there are so many people in the world that are grieving, if God will give you permission to share, how are you thinking about helping other people?
Well, I look for support groups. And where we live, they ain't have no whole lot of support group. And I have to check me
Mm-hmm.
often. I check me often. I said, now, Mamie, it might not be them. It might be you. Don't be acting like that. You better check you and make sure it ain't them. Make sure it's you. It ain't you. And I said to the hospice support guidance lady that comes to me, and I am in counseling.
Mm-hmm.
So many people they think all that. I look forward to her, and I preach to her about an hour before she starts, talking to me. And she said, why don't you start your own?
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to call it a support group, because everybody ain't got no support.
Mm.
No, no, no. It's only as strong as the supporters that supports it.
Mm.
I'm not doing that. And in January, we will be launching the Joseph Wilson Memorial Grief Outreach Center.
Mm-hmm.
And it will be for not only just death grief, but lost spouses, children, whatever. Anybody that's hurting. And sometimes you just might need to just go and sit.
Mm.
Let them talk. Whatever else. So when she said that you need to start your own, and God let me experience this walk so I can know the very depths of what people can go through with. So that is the plan that we're beginning to work on and launch out, because my heart goes out to people that cannot express what they just listening
Mm-hmm.
to somebody else can give you the strength to make a change in your
Mm-hmm.
life.
Knowing that you aren't alone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's okay. It's okay to be broken in public.
Mm.
It's okay to, I had to take a breath a minute ago, but it's okay. It's okay. They only can see what you allow them to see. So allow them to see your pain so they can see your healing
Mm-hmm.
and see your way out.
Mm-hmm.
It brings hope. For the beginning of grief, there's no more hope. But the way out, there is hope. So now help others. It affirms you to say, you will make it.
Mm-hmm.
Now bring somebody else up.
Yeah, yeah. Family, thank you for spending this time with us tonight. We've laughed, we've
Yes.
reflected, and some of y'all probably didn't cry, but I held it together. I wasn't crying in this episode. And we've been reminded that even in pain, God is still present. Chief Apostle Mamie Lee, thank you for your transparency, your strength, and the way you just continue to shine a light that helps others find a way. To everyone watching or listening, if you're ever in a season of healing, you're not alone. God sees you, God is holding you, and God has a tomorrow prepared just for you. Until next time, stay encouraged, stay connected, and never stop believing for your own comeback story. We love you, God bless you, and we'll see you soon.
Thank you.
Mendez, I see what you doing. That podcast, that's gonna be big. That's it. I seen it last night. Don't you let nobody discourage. I'll back you. I'll back you.